Why hello friends, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Meg, and in today's video is the second video in a 4-part series where we are talking about makeup tips for beginners. I'm going through my entire makeup routine and I am breaking it down like section by section, and I'm loading it with a bunch of tips for you guys. The last video was all about a flawless base routine, so if you want to go ahead and click below for that link and watch the previous video, that's there for you to catch up on. And today's video we're talking specifically about bronzer, blush, and highlighter placement. We're talking about which products I'm using, how to place it, and I'm also talking about which brushes I use to put what where. And I've been exclusively using this Amazon brush set to make things a lot easier for you to follow along, and you're not having to like scrounge up a bunch of different makeup brushes. They can all be found in this set. If you're really struggling with your bronzer, blush, and highlighter placement, you're gonna definitely want to stay tuned. But before you do, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on this video, hit the subscribe so we can be friends, and also make sure to follow along on social media where I post daily, especially on Instagram stories where I'm always doing tons of great tips. So if you want to get a beautiful bronze, blush, and highlighter look to your face, then just keep watching. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and share with you how to lay down your bronzer, blush, and highlight on this flawless base that you have created. Brows are also done. I will be sharing how I do those in a later video in this series. But let's just move forward with laying all of the nice stuff on top of the complexion. So what I'm doing is my bronzer first. It's gonna be like a little Neapolitan ice cream sandwich. We go bronzer, blush, then highlight like chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. My friend Ange taught me that term. Credit that to her. Anyway, I'm going in with my beloved butter bronzer. As you can tell, it's literally the only bronzer that I use. I've shared this bronzer placement before, but I'm going to share it with you again. I am using a small brush in this Amazon brush set. So again, we are using all of the Amazon brushes today, and I'm taking a smaller brush. I'm not going in with a big fluffy brush. You could take something like this brush and just sort of warm up the complexion and call it a day. You can use bronzer for a couple different ways. You can just fluffy brush it all around. That's totally fine. If you want to kind of contour your face a little bit, give it a little bit more structure, this is the method I swear by. So here's the placement. It's going in at kind of the top of the ear. You want it to be a little bit higher than you would think, because that is going to lift the face and give it a lot more structure. It's also going into the temple. So we are contouring with bronzer without being too overly contoured. We're just looking flawless. I also take it along the jawline with this small brush. I'm gonna do one side of my face so you can see what I mean, how this really does give that face warmth and structure. So it's going in the temple up here, and then right there. Okay, can you tell? Like, look how much more structure and lifted this side of my face has as opposed to this side. You are definitely gonna wanna place your bronzer higher up and further back than you originally probably have been doing. So it is kind of still that 3 or that E, but again, it is much higher. A lot of people have been placing their bronzer like right here, and that's a no-no. Well, I mean, there are no rules in makeup, but like this is a much more flattering placement. Okay, I'm gonna do the other half of my face in fast motion. All right, here we go. Using this little smaller brush helps you be a lot more precise with where that bronzer is going, but you don't end up worrying so much that it's going to look super muddy. And if it does, you can take a larger brush and blend the area out. You can even put some powder on that brush and just sort of blend it out. Now when I get to my nose, I don't like a flat looking nose. I like to have a little bit of structure. I'm gonna take this little brush in the set, and I'm just going to gently, this is not precise, I'm just putting a little bit of bronzer on the sides of my nose to create just less of a flat white nose. And I pull this pretty much all the way down, and I'm not being extremely precise with it. You can if you want, but I just don't find that I need to. Or you can take this brush that you've been using and just hit the sides of your nose and call it a day. Either way works. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're done with the bronzer. So easy. Let's move on to blush. Okay, I'm going in with this today. This is the Essence blush in the shade Bespoke. It is more of a nude toned blush. I like nude toned blushes because they add a little bit more structure to the cheek. And I have this whole thing on my Instagram that I talked about this that you can refer back to, but using a nude neutral tone blush, I just feel like creates such a nice little structure and lift to the cheek. You can still use this technique with a pinkier or peachier blush. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you with a more nude tone, neutral tone blush. So this is the brush that I'm using, and I am going to lightly tap into that. And then the placement is behind the apple of the cheek, not where we smile and we put it straight right there and looked clownish. We're smiling, relaxing, and right past that apple of the cheek is where we are applying the blush, back towards the corner of the ear, like similar placement to the bronzer, but it's a little more forward. So it's up here and back. So it's not up here in the center of that cheek, not on the apple. It's right behind the apple towards the corner of your ear. It can also go up into your temple if you want. This is a super structured blush look. Can you see here? This side doesn't even have any blush on it. It has bronzer but no blush. Do you see how that gives such a beautiful like lift and structure? And it's like a nice little flush. And this shade is so flattering. You can use it with literally any makeup look that you're doing. Like this, I love this immediate like lift. Lift, lift, lift. And that's it. I mean, you can put a little across the nose. Apparently the people in, my friend in California is like, I always put it in on my nose. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. You can if you want, it's not necessary. And then we're going on to highlighter, which is the last step. I'm using my Persona highlighter in the shade Zuma. This is one of my holy grail highlighters. It's so blinding. I kind of gravitate towards like goldish, white gold highlights. You're just gonna obviously pick one that fits your skin tone best. And I am using this highlighter brush in the kit. You can also use something a little smaller if you really want to be precise. It's not necessary, but this is just kind of what I'm using today. There are also some Morphe highlighter brushes that are kind of my total favorite, but this works. You want it just on the very tip of this brush, and that is going right above your blush. Do you see that placement? And you can kind of bring it forward even a little bit more to get that cheek to pop a little bit. Boom, ice cream sandwich, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. So I like highlighter and I like a blingy highlighter, and this is just what I do. You can use a cream highlighter, you can use a liquid highlighter, you could do this technique, but this is just where we're talking about placement. And if you use cream products for all of these, you will be using different brushes or you're using your fingers and stuff like that. But this is what we're doing for powder products, which tend to sit and live on my skin a lot better. Okay, I have a blingy highlight look, and that's how I like to wear my highlighter. You can also place kind of a little in between the brows for some highlighting, a little bit on the tip of your nose. People are very for or against that. You can also put a little highlighter right there on the chin. Now, if you find it to be too much, you went a little heavy-handed, grab your powder puff and just sort of take that down. Grab some powder, press it down. That's it. We have a pretty glowing bronzer, blush, and highlight on top of my base. All right, that is it for my bronzer, blush, and highlight video. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something new that you haven't learned already, or you're just eager to refresh some techniques in your routine. This is obviously the finished makeup look. I'm wearing the same outfit. It's all the same day that I'm filming this. I'm not gonna bother to change, make you think this is different days. So here we are. Next up in this 4-part series is going to be all about eyeshadow, and I'm going to create a really easy look with a palette with shades that you probably have. If you don't have, it's easy to find. That's gonna be so much fun, so make sure you stay tuned to the next video. If it's already published, I will have it linked below for you to catch up on. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!